I met her when I was 24. She had this laugh, the kind that made you feel like everything would be okay, even when it wasn't. She was warm, kind, and carried her pain quietly, the way strong people do. I met him even earlier. We grew up together in the same neighborhood, went to the same school, and shared the same dreams. We shared everything: secrets, failures, late-night talks, and dumb jokes that only we understood. He stood right next to me on my wedding day. He helped me plan the proposal. He toasted to our forever. I trusted him with my life. I trusted her with my heart, and I never imagined those two would become the people who broke me. Our marriage wasn't perfect. No marriage is, but it was real. We worked, we argued, we forgave, we grew, we talked about kids, about buying a home, about a future that felt guaranteed. My best friend was always around. He came over for dinners, watched games with us, helped us move, and celebrated holidays like family. I used to joke with him, "If I die, you better take care of her." He'd laugh and say, "Always." Those words would later come back to haunt me in ways I could never have foreseen. Looking back, the betrayal didn't start with a single act. It started with silence. She became distant, not cold, just quieter. She spent more time on her phone, smiling at messages she wouldn't share. She started staying up later, leaving the room to take calls. When I asked her what was wrong, she'd just say, "I'm tired." When I asked if we were okay, she'd say, "Of course we are." And I believed her, because love teaches you to trust first and question later. Around the same time, my best friend started coming around more. At first, I thought nothing of it. He was going through a rough patchwork stress, personal issues. I welcomed him. I told her he just needs support, and she agreed. She supported him too. A little too much, I now realize. She started texting him often, checking on him, listening to him vent. I felt grateful, not suspicious. I thought, I'm lucky to have a wife who cares so much about my friends. I didn't see that I was slowly being replaced in the emotional space I once filled. There were red flags, moments I just excused, like when I'd walk into a room and their conversation would suddenly stop. Or that one time I joked, "You two talk more than we do," and they laughed, but it was a little too awkward. I even noticed she knew details about his life he'd never told me. But I brushed it all off, because betrayal from strangers hurts, but betrayal from the people you love doesn't even feel real until it does. One night, we were all sitting together, laughing and talking, pretending I went to the kitchen to grab drinks. When I came back, I saw them sitting closer than usual. They weren't touching. It wasn't obvious, but something in the air just felt heavy. When she noticed me, she moved slightly away. He looked away too quickly. And in that moment, a strange thought crossed my mind. Not suspicion, not an accusation, just discomfort. I felt like I had walked into something I wasn't meant to see. I didn't find out by spying or snooping. She left her phone on the table while she went to shower. A notification popped up. It was his name, and the message read, "I miss you." Last night meant everything to me. My heart stopped. My hands went numb. I just stared at the screen, my brain unable to process the words. Last night, she was with me last night. We slept in the same bed. She told me she loved me. I opened the message and my entire world collapsed. There were hundreds of messages, weeks of them, months, confessions, affection, intimacy. It wasn't just physical, it was emotional, deep and real. They talked about their fears, their dreams, their feelings for each other. And then I saw the message that broke me completely. I never meant to fall for you, but I did, and I don't regret it. My wife had fallen in love with my best friend. Scrolling further, I saw details I wish I never knew. Hotel receipts, times they met when I was at work, excuses she made, lies he told me. They had kissed, they had touched, they had been together, not once, not accidentally, but repeatedly, deliberately, behind my back, in my life, in my marriage. When she came out of the shower, I was just sitting on the bed with her phone in my hand. She saw my face and froze. I said her name. My voice wasn't angry, it was just broken. How long? She didn't answer at first. She just sat down slowly and whispered, "I never meant for this to happen." I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was so unbelievable. "How long?" I asked again. She cried. 6 months. 6 months. Half a year of lies, of pretending, of betrayal. She tried to explain. She said she felt lonely, that our marriage had become routine, that he understood her in ways I didn't, that it just happened. She said I didn't plan this, but she planned every message, every meeting, every lie. She said I never wanted to hurt you, but she made that choice every single day. Then I confronted him. I didn't scream. I didn't get violent. I just wanted the truth. I asked him why. He just looked down at the floor and said, "I didn't mean for it to go this far." That sentence, that single sentence, ended our friendship forever. Because if he had truly cared about me, it wouldn't have gone anywhere at all. They tried to minimize it. They said things like, "It wasn't serious at first," or "It just started as an emotional thing." They claimed they didn't plan to fall in love, that they were just confused. But let's be real. Confusion doesn't delete boundaries. Confusion doesn't erase loyalty. And confusion certainly doesn't justify betrayal. They weren't confused. They were selfish. The pain wasn't just heartbreak. It was a deep, gut-wrenching humiliation. It was the shock of losing two people at the exact same time. It was suddenly questioning every single memory I held dear. Every laugh, every hug, every "I love you", every moment I thought was real. I had to face the devastating truth that while I was busy building a life with her, they were busy building a secret behind my back. And the hardest part to admit, I didn't leave right away. I remembered the person she used to be, and I held on to a sliver of hope that she could find her way back. But hope isn't enough. Trust doesn't heal with promises. It heals with actions, and I just wasn't seeing the change I needed to see. The turning point came one night, weeks after I found out. I looked at her and asked if I hadn't caught you. Would you have ever stopped? She just stared at me. She didn't say a word, and that silence was louder and more painful than any confession could ever be. Because when the betrayal only stops because it gets exposed, you know it was never truly regretted. It was just a risk that didn't pay off. So I sat her down for one final conversation. I told her, I don't hate you, but I can't live in a marriage where I was so easily replaced. She cried, she begged, she made all the promises I once wanted to hear. But some things, once they're broken, can never be put back together in the same way. I said, you didn't just cheat on me, you chose my best friend. You didn't just betray our vows, you destroyed my entire belief in what love is. And with that, I walked away. As for him, my best friend, I just blocked him. No goodbye, no dramatic confrontation. Some betrayals don't deserve the dignity of a proper ending. They just deserve silence. The man I had trusted like a brother became a complete stranger overnight. It was a painful lesson. Not everyone standing beside you is actually on your side. The loneliness that followed was suffocating. The nights were the absolute worst. The bed felt enormous and empty. The silence in the house was deafening. I started questioning everything about myself. Was I not enough? Was I boring? Was I just unlovable? It took me a while to understand that their betrayal said everything about their character and nothing about my worth. Healing wasn't a straight line. It came in small, unexpected moments. The first morning I woke up and didn't immediately check my phone for a message that would never come. The first night I actually slept through without replaying every painful detail. The first time I genuinely smiled and felt it in my soul. I started pouring all my energy back into myself, my health, my career, my peace of mind. I started rebuilding the parts of me that had been so badly neglected, and that's when the globe they never saw coming began. I wasn't seeking revenge. I was seeking peace. I didn't expose them. I simply outgrew them. I became stronger, calmer, and happier than I had been in years. And one day, I realized I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was thriving. Months later, the messages came. First from her, I made the biggest mistake of my life. Then from him, I regret everything, but regret doesn't rebuild trust. Apologies don't erase scars. I didn't reply, because closure isn't always a conversation. Sometimes, closure is choosing not to reopen a door that almost destroyed you. Through all of this, I learned that love without loyalty is just manipulation. Friendship without integrity is just deception, and forgiveness doesn't always mean reconciliation. Sometimes, forgiveness means releasing someone from your life without hatred, but also without giving them any more access to you. If you're going through something similar, if someone you loved and trusted betrayed you with someone you considered family, I want you to hear this. You are not weak for loving deeply. You are not a fool for trusting completely. You are not broken because someone else failed to protect your heart. I didn't scream or fight or beg. I just walked away, and I became everything they lost. The best revenge isn't anger, it's peace. It's not exposure, it's growth. The best revenge is becoming so strong, so fulfilled, and so whole on your own that they no longer even matter. Thank you for listening.